Well, with the pin-up boy story, it's quite confusing really. It all started through Roger Burnett trying to get me as much publicity as he could, and trying to get me in the motorcyclist press like GQ and them sort of magazines, into the national press. And it's sort of backfired in a way, because I've had quite a lot of stick over the last couple of years over most of my articles. So it's something I'm really trying to drop, if anything else. I mean, it's not a bad image to have, but in the black leather motorcycling world, it's caused me a little bit of hassle. I also did one where I had to say that I use moisturiser. Now I don't use moisturiser, never use moisturiser, but I had to say I use moisturiser, and I've paid the price, because that was in the motorcycle news. It was even in the Burnley Express. So it's a strange reputation I've got, but I think I'm trying to get rid of it now. You know, I don't drink too much. I look after myself. I try and be as healthy as I can. But that's for my job really. I'm as clean living as the next guy. You know what I mean?
We've actually known each other for years, but I've known his sort of circle of friends, but we actually didn't get together. We met in a nightclub, didn't we? I hadn't actually talked to him. We just sort of smiled at each other and said hello. Then we got talking when we met in a nightclub, and it's all went from there, didn't it?
I tried a couple of years ago, but I didn't have the. I tried with the Dutch courage approach, but it didn't quite work. So.
I can't remember him trying at all.
I remember trying, because I remember walking away with the tail between my legs. But
well, I mustn't have noticed at all.
Well, thanks a lot. Cartwheels in a nightclub. I thought that would get attention, but obviously not. You live and learn.
It must have been very subtle.
Yeah, I'd like to take her out on the back of a bike on the road, you know. But
it's bad enough in his car, I've got to be honest. So
she's a bit nervous, but I'm not going to try and impress her, you know, because she's seen me riding. You know, she knows I'm useless, so it's, you know, I'm not going to try and impress her on the road, and I'm certainly not planning on crashing.
I do get nervous when I'm watching Neil, very, very nervous, especially when you're watching and he doesn't appear. I definitely prefer to be there than not be there, definitely, yeah. I've watched him on television a few times and that was worse.
Was it? Yeah.
Especially it was Japan, I wasn't there, and he sort of went on the floor and didn't come round for a few seconds. I was like, Dad, is he alright? And my dad's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. That's
it was a nightmare.
That's a technical term. I went on the floor. What actually happened is I crashed.
He crashed.
Well, I didn't actually. I got knocked off by Pier Francesco Killy, and I was a little bit winded.
No, but you didn't get straight back up. That's what I was saying.
No, I was a bit winded. I think it scared a few people because I didn't move, but it was just I was just.
It seemed to be for ages on the television. It seemed to be ages before he got.
It seemed to be ages for me. Led there before I could get my next breath. It was really bad.
Before a race, Neil's not too bad actually, are you?
No.
Sometimes you're worse than others. It depends if there's a lot of pressure on the race. I think Donington was the worst when he qualified pole. I think you were the worst then.
Yeah, I was really nervous
that night because it put more pressure on him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, personal sponsorship's really important, especially in the early years when I was a privateer. You know, I had a few companies help me out. People like Carol Nash helped me out, and she still is doing now. You know, I've built a good relationship up with her. Henderson Insurance Brokers, they've helped me, you know, for 5 or 6 years now. It's nice to build up a relationship with somebody and continue the sponsorship, you know, and you feed off each other. I get them good publicity and they help me out, you know, it works really well.